This is Robert Kraft, and I'm your host on SNN Network. And with me today on this most interesting of days, a familiar face of the program, Mr. Jason Hirschman from Hudson 215 Capital. Jason, welcome, and how you doing today?
I'm doing very well, actually. Thank you very much for having me today, Bobby.
It's great to have you on as always. Look, let's get your initial reactions. I mean, we're seeing the markets down as much as 6, 7%. Saw a halt after what, 3 minutes for 15 minutes, and it's a crazy day in the markets, man. What do you
It's
see going on?
absolutely a crazy day in the market, and it's like this is the best of times, this is the worst of times for me, right? Because as a stock market investor, yes, you see this dislocation, and it's naturally just a worry, right? To say how far down can it go?
Mhm.
On the other hand, like I like to say, I'm a full-time investor, but also a full-time businessman. And I have a lot of suppliers in China and actually in Korea. And today is the day where my supplier base actually is now fully operational. They're actually ahead of schedule. So on one hand, as a businessman, this is like the best day I've had in months. As an investor, a different set of feelings. So it's interesting to have both of those play against each other.
Well, I guess it's all about balance, right?
Yes.
That
Uh,
balance is always nice.
Balance is always nice, and in some ways, being as businessmen, seeing that like China is starting to get its supply chain back up going again, gives me reasons, really grounded optimism as an investor, right? So it's a feedback loop, right? Having that personal experience as a businessman, as an entrepreneur, with like feet on the ground in China, seeing the optimism over there that they've turned the corner, it looks like, really helps give me the sense really to handle this pullback a little bit more, let's say, sanely, a little more calmly than perhaps I otherwise would.
Right. Well, because one of the big reasons for this bullback, as we kind of alluded to already, is fears of the coronavirus and affecting
Yes.
supply chain. You mentioned you have people on the ground there. I mean, what's some of the feedback? Is that they have it more or less contained, or they're just what's going on?
It's funny because usually there's a extended period of a break during Chinese New Year,
Right.
right? And then factories reopen again afterwards, and then you start going up again, you start getting production again, and they had the same kind of issues over there that we had over here, the same sort of panic, right? They didn't know how bad is this going to get, right? And they got very mixed messages from their government. Some days, okay, you're allowed to start up next week. Next day, guess what? It's going to be the following week. So the same set of emotions that they had over there just are occurring over here. It's just they happened over there a couple weeks or a month or so earlier, right? So for me, that gave me opportunity. I bought all my toilet paper like a month or so ago, right? I didn't have to do the Costco run a couple of days ago and fight it out, right? I was stocked
You're
up for toilet
set.
paper. I was all set, right? Way ahead of the schedule. So it's just interesting to see how things play out, and we can see it if you're everybody on Twitter, all these predictions about how within by May we're going to be running out of hospital beds, right? All those kinds of emotions occurred over there about a month or so ago,
Right.
right? But they're getting back to normal, and I'm sure that we will too. Which gives it's just having a chance to see where things are going over there, things getting better. I know we're going to have the same kind of positive reaction over here. It just takes time.
Right. Well, I mean, look, in the interim, because there was this panic, I mean, probably going to see some of these Q1 results coming out well below. I mean,
Oh,
I know there was lower guidance on pretty much across the board, but still, we might see results that are lower than that. I mean, so there's still probably going to be. I'm not a oracle or anything like that either, but we can still expect to see some more selling probably.
oh, definitely, definitely. And again, I just go back to and this is the advantage of having like your own personal business experience, right? I remember after 9/11, right? Sales, plummeted, right? I mean, they absolutely went down. And again, it goes back to being what kind of company do you want to invest in, right? If you're in a company that's doesn't have much leverage, doesn't have to go out to the market for a secondary, right? Has high gross margins, you're better set than if you're invested in companies that really just are on the edge anyway, right? So people out there have their portfolios, and a number of these portfolios have been really shot to pieces, right? So the question is, what do you do now? And I think experienced investors hopefully will have a little bit of cash, But even if you don't have the cash, this is really the opportunity now to change around your portfolio. Sometimes great stocks actually get shot for no good reasons in these corrections or bear markets, right? So this is a chance really to upgrade your portfolio, to take some losses if need be, and to reposition in better companies, better stocks for the long haul.
Absolutely. I mean, that's probably, it's interesting. I think we have more or less some of the same, we follow some of the same people, and, a lot
Yes.
of our, brethren who are of that value investor core, I think over the last 2 weeks, they say, I think Ian even put out a tweet this morning that was funny. He was like, I think I might have been the only one buying today. So, I mean, you see that that a lot of value investors that, see opportunities in companies that they already know inside and out that are now just trading because, it's just because there's markets in turmoil, it's all going down. So they're, if I liked it at this price, now I'm definitely going to like it, 10, 15% less than what it was trading at.
Right, right. And this is really, I mean, the way I'm handling my own portfolio, and I'm sure a lot of other investors are too, is that you basically just, you don't have to, whatever cash you have, you don't have to put it all to work today. Even if today is the bottom, which no one really knows, even if today is the bottom, even if you buy slightly higher tomorrow, use that time to like think about what you really want to do, right? You don't have to be like that. And we were talking about that toilet paper run, right? You don't want to be everybody. You see everyone taking things off the shelf. You don't want to grab things you don't need or you don't want just because everyone else is doing it, right? Yes, it is. Obviously today is a better day to buy than yesterday. Maybe tomorrow will be a better day than today, right? So just slowly move into the market. You're never going to get the lows, but you're never going to sell at the highs either. But you just got to stay calm, and just look through your stocks and say, what do I want to add? What do I want to trim? And just be very rational about it, as rational as you can be in this market.
So I also have to ask. I mean, other than your son's take on saying how you should have bought Tesla 3 years ago. I
Yes,
mean,
yes.
what is?
He was 10 years old when he said that.
Oh,
He
he
was
was.
10 years old when he said that, right?
Oh, sorry. He was.
Okay, he's 13 now. He was 10 back then.
Hold
But
on. Firstly, did you redo the family trust
no, no, no.
yet?
We have. He's still in. We made no changes. Um, we'll see what he says tonight, right? So he has to pass the test for tonight. But he's a good kid. I mean, I have two kids, and it also gives you balance too, right? When you right, you just can't stay glued to your screen all day. I mean, I'm sure all of our us market participants were looking at the futures last night, right? Expecting it to be a Game of Thrones meme, like this morning. And yes, you woke up, especially on the West Coast. You wake up, the market's already. I mean, obviously, it's going to be a down day to
Yeah.
start with.
Well,
But
yeah. I mean, I was gonna ask. What were some of your other, some other funnier takes that you've seen today? I mean, this is by no means a funny day. I'm not trying to
right,
make a
right,
joke out of this. This is serious.
sure,
A lot of people
sure.
are losing but there's been some good takes on Twitter.
It's,
That's for
it's it's
sure.
interesting for me, and perhaps it's going to come off as a little obnoxious, right? But you go on, you see all the people on Twitter. Everyone's like, let's stay calm, right? No one's going to say freak out on Twitter, right? Everyone stay calm, stay calm. Of course, they have to do that, right? But you're having like people like 27-year-olds or young people who've I don't even know if they could shave the last time there was a bear market, telling everybody to stay calm. So, right? I mean,
I mean, I wasn't telling people to stay calm, but I mean,
right, right,
I
right.
wasn't an active market participant back
Right.
then. So
This is in some ways, again, this is also a little bit of the benefit of experience. It's the benefit of some gray hairs, right? Not only to remember the 2008, 2009 bear market, but also remember the 2000 bear market. And sometimes if we do go into bear market, these things can last, for a couple of years, right? So again, it's a good reason not to shoot all your, not to empty out your guns just in one bad day, you know, because especially if you end up with zero cash, right? There's always a very different feeling in how you handle the market, right? Now you're into like, please let it go up because you have nothing else to invest, right? So I really do think it's important not to just to layer into the market moderately, even if today's the low day, right? You don't have to buy at the low to do very well.
right. So, final thoughts here, moving forward. I know we're not trying to be, market
Yes.
predictors or anything like that, but, what other things are you seeing?
Well, what I'm seeing is, and this goes back to my personal experience, like in China, it's starting to come back up again. Korea, even in Daegu, which was the core city where coronavirus spread to in Korea, our operations there never shut down, right? So I think over time, when we see that instead of seeing this as a worldwide financial outage, we're going to view this as a rolling blackout. Right now, Italy's being, you know, majorly affected. The United States will probably be more affected than we are today, over the next month or so. But the market is forward looking. And when it starts seeing that, hey, these other areas like China are really coming back, when it starts seeing, Italy come back, when it starts seeing the United States, maybe things don't get as bad as we think they are, or may become, the market is forward looking. It will start recovering. So, you really just can't wait for the all clear sign in order to invest. So, I just take it easy, put some money into the market today and tomorrow, and life goes on, right? For the living, life goes on.
Yeah, well, let's just, hey, look, at the end of the day, we hope that everybody does stay safe, take those
Yes.
precautions if they're up there. And, with that, I think, where can my audience go and find more information about everything that you were thinking in terms of the market? I'd say mostly your Twitter account.
I think my Twitter account, if you're a member of Microcap Club, of course, I post there. And there's a lot of good, and this is also an opportunity. It's like, reread those Buffett annual letters, right? Read Peter Lynch. Like if you're feeling agitated, right? Always go back to the masters. Pull out that favorite chapter that from that book. Read it again, right? You know, tamp down any emotions, and
Gotcha.
then try and be as rational as you can, right? That's all you can do in today's kind of market.
That's for damn sure. Well, with that, Jason, thank you for joining me today. Really do appreciate it. And
Oops.
I'll see you soon.
See you soon. Catch you later.
Catch you later.